This is head coach Ed Orgeron. You're watching Tiger TV Sports.
Hello and welcome back to Newsbeat. I'm Sports Director Zoyce Manaris. Well, it's Bama Week, the most exciting week of the season for LSU fans. But for students here on campus, it's Bama Hate Week. To gauge their anticipation and expectations for the game, we sent out our Caroline Fenton to the streets today to get their thoughts and predictions for Saturday.
It's Bama Week, arguably the most anticipated week for LSU Tiger football fans. We're on LSU's campus today asking students how they feel about the upcoming game in Tuscaloosa.
I'm not worried about it. I think Tiger's going to come up on top.
See LSU beating number 2 Alabama in Tuscaloosa by a field goal, I say 17-14.
I think it's going to be a wacky game, so I'm going to go with 16-15. Yes, that means safeties, multiple field goals, shenanigans.
Want to keep it close, definitely. We can pull out the win. I think our defense got to play good, but we can definitely pull out the win.
I mean, I hope we can do it. I think we can do it if they keep their mind in the right place.
I say it's going to be 30-14 LSU.
We're on top.
The students may be hopeful for the game, but the bookies do not share their optimism. The Tigers are currently 21-point underdogs, but LSU head coach Ed Orgeron made it clear that neither he nor his players are paying any attention to what the odds makers are getting up to.
Well, it's the first I heard of it. Thanks for telling me. And that don't mean anything to us. I mean, that's why you play the game. You never can tell. We're going in there with the mindset we're going to win the football game. That's going to be our attitude.
The Tigers may have the right attitude, but winning still comes down to execution on the field. To do that, LSU will have to overcome Alabama's defense, which is giving up both the fewest points and yards per game in the country. To combat that, LSU will need a big game from star running back Darius Geis. He's coming off of a 276-yard performance against Ole Miss. But that Rebel defense Geis faced 2 weeks ago is much weaker than Alabama's. And as Orgeron stated on Monday, for the Tigers to be successful, they'll need to have a balanced offensive approach. And that responsibility falls on senior quarterback Danny Etling.
First of all, Danny has to be very, very patient. This is his test. He knows it. He has to make the right throws, the right decisions in a big game. Now, there were some throws last year that were wide open. He didn't make them. He'll realize that. I know we're going to have a better plan this year. And I think that our offense is working very hard to protect Danny and get the throws out that we can get and run the ball when we can.
The senior signal caller has stepped up his game the past 2 weeks. He's coming off of a 200-yard, 2-touchdown performance against Ole Miss, and the week before that, threw for 206 in a score and a comeback win over Auburn. Etling's learned a lot since he last took the field against the Tide, and he's using that experience to figure out what he needs to do differently this year for the Tigers to be successful.
Just to capitalize on the opportunities you have. You always want to make sure that when there's a play to be made, you make that play and you don't have any, slight mishaps or anything like that. So you don't ever know which play can change the game, so making sure you attack practice with the intensity of making every play matter so that way when the game comes, you can have that same mental focus throughout.
In last year's game to which Etling referred, the Tigers' offense was stagnant, getting shut out, mustering just 125 yards and 6 first downs. But since that game, the Tigers have hired new offensive coordinator Matt Canada. His additions of shifting and pre-play motion likely got him hired this summer, since Orgeron believes it's those elements that are going to give the Tide defense some problems.
One of the reason I hired Matt, because of all the shifts and formations and stuff that I thought that would give Alabama problems. And I think that Matt has done a tremendous job for us this year. Obviously, scoring points against these guys are very tough, but I think he's going to do a very good job of managing the game and taking shots when he can.
Now, on the other side of the ball, the LSU defense has the daunting task of trying to stop Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts. Hurts has 9 touchdown passes on the season. He's also scored 6 on the ground. He's thrown just 1 interception and has completed 63% of his passes. So far, no one has been able to slow him down, and it's one of the many reasons why Alabama is rolling in at 8-0. Simply put, for LSU to have any success on Saturday, the offense, defense, and special teams will all have to play their best games of the season.